Okay. Silent Hill 2 Remake. Cam hack playthrough. Day 17. And we're actually coming up to the end of Brookhaven. We've spent a lot of time looking around this hospital. One of the more iconic locations from the game, and definitely one that has had no shortage of detail. A lot of individual rooms, a lot of very just kind of cluttered areas, a lot of shelves and medicine bottles and posters and all sorts of different things like that to look at and kind of analyze. So we've got one more code that we need to open this box. You can sort of follow the chains to figure out where you're going and what you're doing. Oh. We just got Mary's gasping breath audio for a moment there. Happens in several points throughout the game. Very faint, very quiet sound effect of what's essentially Mary's last breath. Which they have at recurring points throughout Silent Hill 2 Remake. Interesting little addition in terms of the audio design. Or these doctors' coats. Same sort of unreadable name tags. DuBois Bob asks, do the nurses' heads actually pulse when they're dead? We've seen the pulsing happen when they're alive and moving. I think sometimes when enemies die, their models kind of freak out. And it might cause certain animations to keep playing when they're not supposed to. I don't know if it's... In the cases of the nurses' heads pulsing, I don't know if that's an intentional thing, because it doesn't always happen, but I have seen it happen. Ooh, that audio. Footsteps running around. Metal clanking. Mirages. I don't know if this is way too off topic, but I'm hyped for Resident Evil 9. No, we were just talking about Resident Evil. I'm definitely excited for it as well. Even though I'm a much bigger Silent Hill fan, by comparison, I'm still a very big fan of Resident Evil. And I'm definitely curious to see what they do with Resident Evil 9, especially since it's kind of spinning off with characters and story beats from Resident Evil Outbreak, of all things. It's a pretty surprising way to go on Capcom's part. Never would have thought they'd have a mainline entry game being so closely tied to Outbreak. Bob, thank you so much for another 100 bits. Did I scare you? Yeah, you did. Was it ever discovered why this game has random codes / letters / numbers behind objects? I mean, it depends on exactly what you mean. Like, obviously the mysterious photos, which have numbers on them, like that Easter egg was solved. But a lot of assets and things that are just kind of in the game environment have some random things on them, seemingly random things on them, that, as far as I'm aware, have not been figured out. Certainly nothing that I've pieced together. And nothing that I'm aware of through my research. When you cam hack behind certain objects, yeah, there was like a toaster that we found in Brookhaven in an earlier part of this playthrough that's got some letters and numbers. And did you hear that breathy gasp in the audio there? Still a mystery, and it's one of those things that could be intentional and part of an Easter egg that has yet to be solved. It could be something as simple as marking the assets for the developers to know, like, internally. The code might just be something to refer to, like, where that asset is supposed to go, so that the people designing it know how to make it, and the people placing it in the environment know where to put it. It could be something as simple as that they figured players wouldn't look at, or maybe even just forgot to remove. Because as much as there is some very clear, deliberate details and Easter eggs and things like that, we've also seen a lot of default text. We've seen literal, like, your text here written on some of the things like floppy disks and some other assets where there's text on it, and it just says your text here, where that was some sort of asset and they could have put custom text in but didn't, and it just went into the game with that placeholder text. We've seen ipsum lorem, which is like very common placeholder text for designers and programmers, still on several of the assets. So some things are obviously Easter eggs and deliberate. Other things are seemingly like placeholders, or things that maybe they just didn't have time to adjust or fix before release. So it's hard to say how significant anything we might be looking at or finding actually is. But yeah, as far as piecing together any groundbreaking new Easter eggs from stuff that we found written on assets and environmental things that are only visible with the cam hack, nothing that I have figured out so far. Hey, we get our little flashback, our remnant of the past. OG Silent Hill 2, where you would get the flashlight battery, your replacement battery for your flashlight later on in the labyrinth area, as well as one of the keys needed for Brookhaven. And the hands, that painting of the hands reaching up, that James had some nice dialogue about in the OG Silent Hill 2 that is sadly missing or not referenced in the remake. Trying to interpret what the hands could mean, and James wonders if they're a sign of pain. Kind of gives you a little bit of insight into his state of mind, how he's seeing things, how he interprets things. Stuff that I really liked that was in the original. That sadly didn't make it into the remake. And there they are. The replacement batteries for the flashlight, your dry cell batteries, and a broken key. Just like you would have found in here in the original game. Laying right there on the ground in front. Although it would have only been one battery. You only find one battery, one dry cell for your flashlight in the original. I guess this is also supposed to represent the dead one once you replace it. But you don't replace it here when you first pick it up. You keep it in your inventory all the way until the labyrinth before you finally need it. Usually by that point, most players have kind of forgotten about it. So you have that moment of getting stuck in the bug room and not knowing what to do to get out. You search frantically through your inventory, and then you realize, oh, I've got a battery. U.S. Razo. R-A-Z-O. Not sure what that could potentially mean. If it's something in Polish, I'm sure Tassadul will tell me. Or something maybe specific. Because we have found a lot of little Easter eggs and things like that that are sort of very specific to the Polish language or culture. And Tassadul says, what? Wasn't paying attention. U.S. or us Razo. R-A-Z-O on this key. Not sure if it is anything significant. Probably not. I mean, there's probably some significance to it. But it might not be Polish specific. Can you eat the batteries? Of course not. That's not how humans work. If you want to get energy from a battery, it's a suppository. Good news. God, very appropriate weather. So for me right now, it's storming outside. So not only am I hearing the rain in game through my headset, there's rain going on outside against my actual room window, and thunder like occasionally going off and shaking the house. So I'm getting a very immersive experience today. This opens back up to where we jumped over there. Here's another 12-hour video in the making. Rain against window and flickery light. Which is actually part of the puzzle. Already trying to put us to sleep. Oh, I don't have to try. Just doing what I do naturally. Tassadul says Razo, R-A-Z-O, prevents the production of acid in the stomach, reduces symptoms and prevents injury to the esophagus or stomach in patients with gastroesophageal reflux disease, also known as GERD, or ulcers. It's either that or the car accessory brand. Interesting. Thank you for that research. I appreciate you looking that up. Watch it go dark. I love the audio in here. Let me see if we can isolate that at all. I don't know if it's going to be part of ambient or effects. But there's like whispering, murmuring, kind of faintly in the background here. There's a few spots where this happens. And I know there are some people who've isolated the audio, like Rachel Ashman, who believes it to be the hospital director's voice. It does sound similar to the voice that we hear on the tape recorder in the director's office. Again, even if I don't necessarily agree with a lot of Rachel Ashman's theories, she's definitely put in a lot of work in terms of isolating audio files and ripping assets and things directly from the game for further analysis. I love that you get this nice, like, beam of light from the flickering, just to kind of help drive home the point of solving this. One year they've been watching me. The number of pills in the sink and the hour the clock makes a sound all make me count the times the light goes out. And this note actually changes depending on what difficulty you're on. Because I think it was not this straightforward when I played on normal and hard riddle. But it's got a picture of the lock, the combination lock on the box that we're trying to get rid of. We're still trying to open. 1 year they've been watching me. So, 1 in bold as part of the combo. The number of the pills in the sink, which, funny enough, I got wrong on my first playthrough. I counted them correctly, and then I did the clock thing and got ambushed by monsters. And by that point, I was like, it threw off my memory, my old man melting brain, and I miscounted. The hour the clock makes a sound, along with the little musical notes, all make me count the times the light goes out. See if we can still see anything significant on this journal, even after picking the note itself up. You can see there's like the word help written there, scratched in. Just all the chaotic scribbles and everything else. Freeform. In your opinion, Nub, what's the most interesting thing you found so far on this cam hack series? There's a lot. Like Bob pointed out, the ice cream bucket, Eddie's ice cream bucket, mentions gutless fatso multiple times in the nutritional facts label, which was a really interesting little Easter egg. There was of course, the HD collection, Comic Sans Silent Hill Ranch sign sitting on a pile of rubble inside the barn on your walk into town, which is pretty amazing that Bloober Team would acknowledge that and like take a jab as an Easter egg at the HD collection, which is great. The VHS tapes, VHS copies of movies, Shoot and Crusher Dan, which are movies that were playing in the theater in Silent Hill 1, that utilized the movie posters for Raiders of the Lost Ark and Die Hard 2. They made VHS copies and put them in the environment in Brookhaven, in one of the front offices, as well as in the house where you first pick up the radio and fight the first lying figure. Those were all really cool. Some of my favorite little things to find. We've got 6 pills. Gotta shoot out the mirrors. From here we can see that. Still shooting out all the mirrors just in case we've got paintings and pictures and stuff hiding. We've already seen one instance of that, so now I've got to check everything. And Crusher Dan, starring Woos Brillis. Oh yeah, Chronos the New Dawn. What do we think? So, Chronos looks cool. It looks interesting. I'm definitely going to get it and play it. But the whole time, the new trailer with the gameplay, Rachel and I were watching it. And of course, I've been doing this cam hack playthrough for 17 days now. So we've been looking very closely at a lot of the assets and resources used to make up the environments of Silent Hill 2 Remake. And Chronos the New Dawn, Bloober was developing that game at the same time as Silent Hill 2 Remake. So the whole time they were showing the environments, me and Rachel were like, oh my god, look, it's the same asset. It's the same shelf. It's the same broken thing. We were looking at all these little things in the trailer where we're like, look at all these Silent Hill 2 assets that Bloober has made use of for Chronos the New Dawn. Genuinely, it looks cool, but we just thought that was funny. that can't be good? I mean, it's fine. Pretty much a lot of game developers do the same thing. They reuse assets and textures and things like that. Like, once you've already made stuff for one game, using it for another game is not the worst thing in the world. You don't need to remake every little thing from the ground up every time you make a new project. Now, relying on it too heavily to where your environments like become stale is a whole nother problem. Because I complain about that kind of thing with like Silent Hill Homecoming and Silent Hill Downpour, where they reuse a lot of assets and things to the point where the environments and details stop being interesting because you just keep seeing the same things and laid out the same way over and over and over. But just sharing assets in general, or repeating assets in a game, it's not a bad thing in and of itself. It's not just inherently something that doesn't work. It depends on how they're utilized and how often they're utilized and how distracting it can be when they lean on that too much as a crutch. But from the trailers, Chronos looks interesting. As I said, I'm definitely going to get it and play it. We'll see how another Bloober original stacks up for me, because I'm not a fan of any of their original games. The Silent Hill 2 remake is the first of their games that I've enjoyed, and that's because they've done well with the source material that they had. You know, they had characters and plot and fan theories and all of this stuff that they were able to utilize rather than having to come up with their own. So, I don't know. We'll see how Chronos winds up being. But Bloober did well enough with this game that I'm willing to give their next original game a chance. Freeform. In-game timeline, how many years does Silent Hill 1 take place before Silent Hill 2? There's no answer. There's no official timeline connecting Silent Hill 1 to Silent Hill 2. There just isn't. There's a lot of fan speculation on when Silent Hill 1 takes place that changes depending on context. I think the intended time period for Silent Hill 1 was retconned when Silent Hill 3 was made. And no, we don't even know that Silent Hill 1 happened before Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2, we're not seeing the same parts of the town, and we're not seeing reality as it actually is. We're seeing everything through a delusion, a twisted, distorted version of reality. We can't trust what we see as accurate information. What about the creepers? So you have Masahiro Ito making comments like that, right? He says that the creepers, the little bugs in Silent Hill 2, are supposed to be remnants of Alessa's nightmare from Silent Hill 1. But again, how much of that is an idea as a retcon after the fact? We don't know, because Ito is also part of the dev team that retconned stuff for Silent Hill 1 when they started making Silent Hill 3. But these games, they weren't really made to interconnect in a perfectly sensible sort of timeline with each other. Like, we know that 3 is 17 years after the events of 1, but as far as what year 1 takes place, there's plenty of debate around that. And I'm not going to get into that argument and evidence. You'll have to wait for my iceberg video where I break down a lot of that stuff. But even then, like, there's ultimately no definitive answer. The developers were being intentionally vague about Silent Hill's time and location when it came to the original games. Even Silent Hill being in Maine, which is a widely accepted aspect of the series, at this point, was not the original intention. When they were first doing location scouting, the developers were looking around Chicago. In the trade demo for Silent Hill 1, the police cars have Buffalo written on the side of them. There's posters and newspapers for Chicago newspapers in Midwich Elementary. It was going to be in Illinois. It was going to be in the Chicago area. But that changed and shifted to Maine as they started increasing the sort of Stephen King influence and elements of the finalized story. So again, I just treat the game as an anthology series. As much as I've spent time and not spent, wasted time, and I mean lots of time, countless hours, many years of my life, piecing together elements of the Silent Hill timeline to reach this conclusion. This is not me just lazily writing it off. This is me having spent many years of my life trying to make it make sense and realizing they were not made to make sense in that way. They were not made to be put in a nice, proper, logical little timeline. They just weren't. It wasn't designed that way. It wasn't designed as a franchise. When they made Silent Hill 1, they didn't have any idea there was going to be a 2 or a 3 or a 4 or anything. They were making one little horror game. It was successful. And then they got to make more stuff. So they had to expand some ideas. They had to change some things. They had to retcon some things. Silent Hill 2 came out, and it wasn't very well received. A lot of people don't realize that. They weren't around back then, or they don't remember. Silent Hill 2, when it came out, was not very well received because a lot of people who enjoyed Silent Hill 1 were expecting a continuation of that story. And when Silent Hill 2 was a completely different person, completely different characters, completely different part of the town, nothing familiar from Silent Hill 1, a lot of people didn't like it. Team Silent responded to that reaction with Silent Hill 3. That's when they decided we should expand this story of Alessa and the cult and Harry Mason and make Silent Hill 3 to satiate that feedback, those fans. It wasn't all planned out from the beginning to fit into a nice, neat little timeline. Was that reaction mostly from Japan or America or both? It was both. I think it was more common in Japan, but there were definitely a lot of people on early internet forums and stuff around that time who were big fans of Silent Hill 1 that were unhappy that 2 was not a continuation. Hey, Luxury Japan, welcome. Really enjoy your content on the lore. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Appreciate the new follow. Welcome to the live streams. So we've got 2 o'clock on there. We've got 6 pills in the sink. And we've got a light going dark 2 times. That effect. I love the map effect soaking with water. As you explore, have everything fill in. Let's see, before we go back. How rude. Before we go back, just want to take another look through these areas. We did have some more enemies spawn in. I love the big cartoony droplets. The animation happens so fast, you never really see it too well. Normally. Seeing if there's anything else to take a look at here before we head back. I think that's everything. So last code. One year, 6 pills, 2 on the clock, and 2 times the light goes out. That face. I did all this shit for an empty box. For nothing. Turns out all you should have done was pull down the sheet behind you. Let's see our pose. We're looking at the elevator button. No fancy finger. Just our standard A pose. Button itself. Oh, look at that. It's even got the little circuitry, the little switch and everything on the back. FG005. Again, like we were talking earlier about some of the details on assets and environments, there's numbers and letters and things like this. Is it significant? Is it to let them know where something is meant to be used or how the texture is meant to be used for the artists internally? Or could be part of something that is just scanned in, since a lot of the assets and things that they utilize are real objects that they've either photographed or used technology to scan and basically turn into a 3D asset that they can use in the game. So some of these might just be parts of that real world asset. It doesn't let you flip it. No, you can roll it around in your fingers. But does not normally let you look at the back side of it. Got our Lady of the Door text. She is an angel, no one knows. Only I can see the Lady of the Door. They cannot walk along her bridge of thread. They fall from the weight of their crimes. Like bloated and ugly corpses, their sins, she devours them. Sin and sinner alike. She saves me. She is an angel. So you find a note in one of the rooms across from the Lady of the Door in the original Silent Hill 2 with this same text written by an unnamed patient, or possibly Joseph Barkin. It's hard to tell with a lot of the notes and memos and writings that you find in OG Silent Hill 2. Like, you find common patterns, the way things are written. This patient specifically didn't use like correct punctuation and capitalization and spelling in a lot of their notes, whereas certain things with Joseph Barkin also were written that way. Like his message to his daughter Louise said, Louise, I love you forever, or something like that. But forever was written out Four. You find the note about the key in the basement's basement, and a patient claiming that, you know, they took it, but they're not a thief. And there's a lot of things that are misspelled, as well as the typewriter memo where you find one of the codes to Joseph Barkin's box. So it's a lot of things that tied back to that particular patient in the OG. In this game, in the remake, the patients are not given names the same way. You don't get that same sort of information. They wanted to leave it a little bit more ambiguous, I think, because devs have said in an interview they wanted to include references and things towards as many fan theories from over the years as they could. And that was a common fan theory back in the day, that the patients, because they have such similar names, like their names all start with a J, just like James, and their symptoms, the way the doctors wrote about them, were all things that are parallels to James and Eddie and Angela. A lot of fans back then theorized those patients were supposed to be references to the characters or those characters themselves. Not a theory that I ever believed in, but something that Bloober would have been aware of and wanted to kind of hint towards that fan theory by leaving the patients unnamed, I think. Leaves that open for interpretation a lot easier, and just leaves it more ambiguous. I always thought it was a reference to the Japanese story The Spider's Thread, which you can watch my Silent Hill 2 iceberg video. I've got a whole segment sort of breaking down the spider's thread and how it sort of parallels this note and the lady at the door, the bridge of thread falling from the weight of your crimes, sin and sinner alike being saved. A lot of similar aspects to a common Japanese children's folk story called The Spider's Thread. And just the recreation of this artwork, something that was in the original Silent Hill 2. You had the lady of the door with her arms and parts of her sort of 3D coming out of the door. That was part of a larger mural on the wall. But it's very cool seeing that recreated with such detail for the remake. I want to get these icons off the screen. 3D, but still kind of low poly. Looking at it up close. But still some very nice texture work on there with all the little scrapes and stains. Paint and everything that's rotted and flecked away. See if there's more of this behind the curtain. Nope. Mural seems to just sort of abruptly end here where you're not seeing anything behind this. Take another look at the box here before we progress as well. Now that it's actually opened. If we have anything else kind of behind this side. Sheets and everything obscuring the wall. But not really. No hidden artwork or anything like that. And a clipping behind the door. Actually, teleport James back here if we can. Might not be able to. Give me 1 second. I need to fix the controls, which break for some reason. And usually that means taking a screenshot. And for some reason, whenever I do this, it breaks the capture. But it's just easier for me to switch scenes while everything kind of breaks for a second. Oh. Well, there's ambient sound built in. And clipping through the door. We do still get our ambient tones, background music, and everything else. Love how when the light is not directly on the wall, you can see the, like, water, moisture running down everything. Just a thought, but does anything happen when you do the Konami code? So far, no. Not that I've discovered, and as far as I know, not anything that anyone else has discovered. I'm gonna make a save because I might potentially break the game. Because I want to go down the stairs without Maria and kind of see what happens here. Because by this point, you're normally supposed to examine the door and have a whole scene with Maria, and she joins you as you head down here. Oh, oh, things are breaking. Things are breaking. The world sort of unloaded around where I was, deloaded. Let's teleport over here. Oh my god. And then we get Magdalene when we're not supposed to hear it. We skipped the whole elevator sequence. Hmm. Don't worry, that just means we saved Maria. Oh, oh, the game is struggling. Stuff is getting choppy. Things are happening that are not supposed to be happening. The game might crash. New speedrun strat found. Yeah, because I can't interact with the elevator. Is it me or did Yamaoka change the key of Magdalene? When we hear it at this point, it does sound like it's being played in a higher key compared to the original. Oh. And there is why everything was lagging out. Because we kind of made the Otherworld town start rendering. Is Laura standing out here somewhere? Theoretically. Key with a cross on it. Sort of similar to the Lapis Eye key. Bits and pieces of torn up paper there. The potential for this illness exists in all people, and under the right circumstances, any man or woman would be driven like him to the other side. The other side, perhaps, may not be the best way to phrase it. After all, there is no wall between here and there. It lies on the borders where reality and unreality intersect. It is a place both close and distant. One of my favorite notes from the original Silent Hill 2. Some say it isn't even an illness. I cannot agree with them. I'm a doctor, not a philosopher, or even a psychiatrist, unlike the director. See, they rewrite part of this note to try to give more significance to the hospital director in this remake. But sometimes I have to ask myself this question. It's true that to us his imaginings are nothing but the inventions of a busy mind, but to him there simply is no other reality. Furthermore, he is happy there. So why, I ask myself, why in the name of healing him must we drag him painfully into the world of our own reality? Follow the map. There is a letter and a wrench. That's what it says in the OG. Slightly rewritten, a little bit different. Little different progression at this point. Oh. There's another key. There's a copy of that key inside this drawer that you can't normally open. This is not interactable. That's not something you can normally get into. Don't worry, it's just the spare. Yeah, you gotta have your spare key hidden away. Just in case you lose one. People be losing keys in Silent Hill all the time. Key control log. The serial number. Just a form where the nurses, everything here, were keeping track, supposed to be keeping track of their keys. Interesting. Oh. Still like a nurse standing back here. We're not supposed to be in this part of the hospital anymore. Clip back here. Oh. I guess she was not supposed to be here either. Oh, and look at that. The ceiling and stuff is not rendered in the way it's supposed to be. Everything is very broken right now. The game does not like skipping Maria and Pyramid Head. And surprisingly, all the stuff that is still rendered here is all sort of working. I'm not falling through the floor just yet. I like how the music, the ambient music for the area and stuff even still works. And then we clip into here and we get Magdalene again. Bob, thank you for the bits. Much appreciated. That's cool. We still have a lot of this floor that's all like rendered. Oh, this is the like long rainy hallway. That you walk down with Maria. So funny seeing all this stuff out of sequence without Maria here. Oh, we've got our pierogi recipe book. Making a return. Hidden back here on this desk. We had seen that in a couple other places already. Basement and elevator. Nothing rendered behind. Oh, there's the copper ring. Oh.
James.
Mary! いや、マリアだったな。
Okay. I don't want to go through this just yet. Let's go back to where we were supposed to be. Still want to do some exploration. Try going behind this again. It's so funny that once you get below a certain point, everything just stops. And it's like, oh, you're here now. Not supposed to be here, but now you're here. Oh, so this is like the elevator. Trying to get context for like why that's happening based on where stuff is located. Okay. Bakuman Road.
残酷に奪われた。被害者の一人はビリー・ロケインという少年です。では、もう一人の被害者であるビリーの妹の名前は1番ミリアム、2番ヘザー、3番ジュリア。さあ、最後の問題です。
Nice. I like our little Heather reference there.
そうなら素晴らしい。商品を受け取るのは
素晴らしい。
もうすぐそこです。でも気をつけて。間違えると。
So we clipped into the room where the prize box, the puzzle box for this was. So it's already been opened. Oh, now we get the sound that the elevator is moving. If you... Oh. Oh. In this instance, it actually moves. A lot of times, even in some of the other sequences in this game, when the elevator is changing floors, it's not actually physically moving. It's just sort of playing a sound effect and making you stand in a little room in this elevator box, and then changes your location, like you sort of teleport where you're supposed to be. But that's cool. For that instance, it actually does physically move to where you're supposed to be. Liv, welcome back. Thank you so much for the 16 months, Livlin. Happy Subarashi Pride Month. And CD Aluni. CD, thank you so much. Welcome back. The 40 months. Very much appreciate that. Thank you so much for the love and support. Now I just want to watch the elevator work. Look at that. It's actually working. It's physically moving you from floor to floor logically. I know it probably seems like such a nothing sort of detail to a lot of you. But again, if you sort of understand game development and how this sort of thing is handled in most games, even earlier in this game, elevators very, very rarely work like that in video games. They're not like physically taking you from floor to floor like that. It's usually a little loading screen. Like, it's just putting you in a little tiny rendered area while they load in a different environment around you. And it just plays like a little visual effect to make it shaky, and a sound effect to make it sound like the elevator's moving, but it's not really going anywhere. Very cool. Rope and cable. Empty drawer, Bloober Team Special. Love making you waste your time opening up something that has nothing in it. No light bulbs. Yeah, I'm checking. No hidden paintings. See, going back to our conversation earlier about numbers and letters sort of being in the environments, to me, these look like they scanned in photos to make a 3D asset of like these electrical boxes and things like that, and these are just numbers that were on those things in real life, whatever their reference model was. Not necessarily some part of some Easter egg or anything like that. Still thinking about that weird hidden portrait of a girl? I mean, there's been a few instances of interesting things like that. Little Easter eggs or hidden things that are just kind of like one-off. Nothing in this wooden crate. Nothing in the machine, nothing hiding in the vents. Garbage chute with some bugs inside. Like a dried up pepper. Just sort of floating there. Banana peel. Wonderful, gross sound effects. Wet garbage. 12 hours of wet garbage ASMR. Here's your next 12-hour relaxation video, everybody. Just seeing all this stuff spawn in. The fact that there's bugs way up there. Where you wouldn't normally be able to see. It's already kind of impressive. Mannequin just patiently standing there. Anything hiding in the fridge? Nope, nothing even rendered. Surprisingly relaxing, says Toluca Dreams. I mean, you could say that about a lot of Silent Hill in general. For as creepy and scary and disturbing and disgusting as these games can be, there is a weird kind of comfort that goes along with them too. Especially like this, that ambient little bit of background music. Nutrition drink hiding in there. Here's another one of those Black Devil toasters. Because we've seen a few different versions of these. One that was in the cafeteria that had some, like, writing and stuff on it. Still unsure if that's anything significant. Or maybe just to differentiate between different models and where they're meant to be used. Hey, Colo. Did you like the latest Silent Hill F trailer? For the most part. I'm a little bit iffy on some of the combat. Like the little hit stun, hit slowdown kind of effect. Feels a little bit out of place. But I put up a whole video giving my thoughts and analyzing the new trailer on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out. I don't want to get into all of that right now while we're live. So, if you want my full thoughts on it, go check out that video. Oxidine, some of the same bottles, syringes, medicine bottles, and things we've seen around. Kabi-sama, I wonder, is there an objective reason for the comfort we find in this series, or is it just us being so familiar with them that it brings us solace simply playing the games? I mean, I think it's both. I think there's elements of both, because there's a lot of people who I know for a fact are new to the series or far less familiar than, myself or a lot of other fans might be. And I feel like intentionally, from a design standpoint, these games try to sort of add in these elements where the environments and the background sound and the music is done intentionally as a way to sort of try to make you relax, make you a little bit less afraid, which is a very important part of horror. You need to have that chance of building tension. And if you're going to build tension and have these really scary moments, you need to have moments in between that are less intense and sort of de-escalate that tension. You can't just have it all scary, all in your face all the time. You get used to it. You get desensitized to it. It's a lot better to have moments of sort of eerie calm in between your horror peaks. And I feel like there's a lot of that done intentionally. Like, it is part of the game design. Not just in this remake, but in the original Silent Hill games throughout much of the series. It seems to be a fairly common design philosophy for horror in general. Spaghetti. Giuseppe Napoli. Meatballs made with pork. All of this stuff we've seen around. The tin cans of apple juice, strawberry soda, evaporated fresh milk. As early as the grocery store in the beginning part of the town. Lemonade case. Honestly, you explaining it that way, I think that's why a lot of horror movies don't work for me. They never de-escalate properly. Yeah, there are games and movies and stuff that try to kind of be all intense all the time. And again, I don't think that really works. If it's a very short thing, a very short experience where it's just quick build and then a quick scare payoff with something intense for a little bit and then it's over. Kind of like a roller coaster, you know? It's very intense, but it's very short. It works, but for something with a longer duration, like a film or a show or a game, you need to have those moments of de-escalation in between all of your building tension and horror moments. It's something that I think Silent Hill, for the most part, has always done pretty well, by having your sort of eerie calm. A lot of times that's your moments where you're walking through the streets and there's fog and there's ambient sound, but there's not a whole lot of enemies, if any at all. You just kind of have a moment to like walk from place to place, uninterrupted, while you listen to some music, while you listen to some footsteps, and not much else. And it sort of lets you relax. Your head space kind of automatically starts to de-escalate so that the next time they try to start building that horror up, it's more effective than if there was just constant stuff scary all the time. That's why I also think moments of levity, little comedic moments, are important. So like Silent Hill 2, for example, Brookhaven, very oppressive, very intense, lots of enemies, lots of scary environments. But then you have little moments of like, oh, here's this ring. It's not very cute. You take it. Thanks. The elevator game show, you have these sort of still weird, still not very like normal or natural feeling, but not intense, in your face horror, scary stuff to kind of make you laugh a little bit, give you a chance to breathe for a moment, for the next scary thing to build up again. Can't believe those don't shatter. Unplayable. 1 out of 10. Miss the Silent Hill 2 ring moment. Miss OG Silent Hill 2 ring moment. Compared to Remake, that was pure gold. Yeah, that's one of those scenes where it's not bad the way it's handled in the remake. And a lot of that comes from the actors, the little facial expressions, and like Maria wiping her hand after giving James the ring. The voice deliveries are just not quite as funny. And it's one of those instances, you know, everyone's going to have their own opinions when it comes to the voice acting, but that's one of those instances where the less professional sounding voice acting of the original, like moments like that, benefit from everything sounding more realistic, more weird, less professional. Someone put a smiley face. Nothing hiding. Hey, what's up, Ducky? Welcome. Hope you're doing well tonight, man. Welcome to part 17 of Nub slowly, meticulously looking at every little thing in the environment. Hanging in there. Hey, sometimes that's all we can do. And as long as you're still trying, you're still here, you've made it another day, that's what matters, man. Same little shampoo bottles. Stuff that we've seen before. see like placeholder text on that. That looks like Japanese. That looks like kanji. Does the Japanese version have Luke's grunts, or is it the Japanese VA? You know, I was wondering that when I did my first Japanese language playthrough, and I think it is the Japanese voice actor, but it sounds very close, very similar to Luke's voice. I could be wrong. I'll need to compare audio files of James killing things in both Japanese and English, like side by side, to verify it. Okay. Oh, here's that. Can I not change? Man, I wish you could change the voiceover language on the fly. That would make testing that sort of thing much easier. Sounds like Luke, but could be wrong. It sounds very similar either way. It could just be Luke, and they only redubbed the, like, actual dialogue, and not any of the action sounds. Like I said, I don't really know for sure. Not drop. You see the flashlight? See, we were talking earlier about the nurses' heads pulsing. Even the different versions of the nurse, like before you get to these versions, the Otherworld nurses, you can see there's a more clear, like, pulsing aspect to the way their heads are designed. But it doesn't always do it, like, when they're dead. And then these versions, they look more bandaged up rather than having the sort of like latex covering over their faces. Nothing on the name tag. Bob, thank you so much for the bits. Let's see, here's the boiler heater, whatever this device is, with the functional QR code and working website link. So if you go to heatforgetechnologies.com, it's actually a screenshot of James looking at this thing and a little spinning model of Mira, the dog from the dog ending, that you can click on, and it'll make OG Silent Hill 2 menu sound effects. And then the QR code, a little cleaner version of it on this one. And then the QR code that actually works and takes you to a heating, installation, everything like that website. And if you look at the About Us part of that website, there's a bunch of like mental health care, Brookhaven related type stuff. Some more really interesting details, Easter eggs. But stuff that we did see the first time coming through here in the fog world. Did I scare you? Yeah. You did. A little cobweb. What's that random little splatter texture floating there? That's the other side of this door. It's got shelves blocking it on both sides. Vintage photos of a couple with a baby, stuff that we've seen. A lot of other locations. Very PT-esque. Here's our ring before we actually pick it up with the engraving of a spider. Same as it was described in the original. And they've got it on this table with the bloody handprints in front of a hole in the wall and a ladder. So originally, you would pick up this ring after pushing a bookshelf out of the way, much like this one. James would like push the shelf out of the way, and you would go down the ladder to the basement's basement into a tiny little room where the ring was. So I like that we have the ladder leading down behind this as like a little reference to the location of this ring in the original. Let's zoom the camera out so we can pick up the ring and get a slightly different camera view of the Maria scene.
James.
メアリー。いや、マリアだったな。悪い。とにかく無事でよかった。
とにかく
とにか
とに
く
かくって何なの？危うくあっちで死にそうになったのよ。あんな怖い目にあったの初めてだわ。メアリーって死んだ人がそんなに大事？私なんてどうでもいいんでしょ。
いや、そんな。
じゃあ一緒にいてよ。二度と置いてかないで。面倒見てくれるんじゃないの？
それは。
それでローラは見つかった？
ああ、けどすぐ逃げられた。
なら探しに行かなきゃ。
ああ、でも君ずいぶんあの子にこだわるな。知り合いか？
別に。初めて会った子よ。でもかわいそうじゃない、たった一人きりで。よくわかんないけど守らなきゃいけない気がして。ほら探しましょう。
Good luck.
私の目を潰す気？
Good luck finding her when you're blind. Live. Tony Way? What do you mean, any kaku? All right, let's go, Maria. Let's go make some pierogies. With this pierogi recipe book. Stairs up here have collision. Might break the game. We're going into places we're not supposed to be. Is that one rat squeal in the remake? So two things. One, I don't remember. I know the sound effect you're talking about. Two, it's the sound of a baby crying sped up and played faster and at a higher pitch. But yeah, the sound that you normally hear going to the bottom of the stairs before the Pyramid Head hallway segment. Baby rat. No, human baby. It's literally just like a human baby cry. Pitch shifted up and played fast. Same newspapers we've seen. The painting that was hidden back here in the fog world was always gone. Or was there before, now is not. Words, English, my brain. Ezio says, pretty sure it's not in the remake because I was disappointed by it.
どういうことだ。
あらいいじゃない。雨の散歩なんてロマンチック。
マリア、何を言ってる。
明るくしようと思ってただの冗談。
そうか。悪い。
Yeah. See, James? She's just trying to keep things light. But again, this is one of those moments. You've got a really big, scary event coming up as you exit Brookhaven with Maria. So you have these kind of moments to help break up that tension. The rain sounds are kind of calming. The music is a little more eerie, but relaxing. That intentional moment of levity, as well as everything just being sort of surreal. Also, I think I broke the swinging light by pausing the game physics. This area where the swimming pool, shower room, greenhouse area. Pool is now just big empty void. See if the pool controls are still down under this. Nope. They are not rendered for the other world. Makes sense. They mustn't know. 13th mysterious photo. Part of the "you've been here for 2 decades" Easter egg. A random texture inside the locker. Looks like part of the tile wall that's just like clipping through. Yeah. Maria's stopped complaining about breaking random things around her. She's gotten used to it.
これもしかしてあれなの？
Now we get the big refrigerator scene. Again, one of those kind of moments of levity. All these things to break up the really intense atmosphere of Brookhaven that we've been going through with just James up to this point. And it's going to get intense again with Maria as we leave. So they kind of add these calm or silly kind of moments to help break that all up. A lot of gross stuff in the fridge. All rendered in. Don't see the ring itself. Which is what I was kind of curious about. That must spawn in as part of the cutscene. Want to look under all the things, all the sheets. Okay. Then let's zoom out so we can get a little different perspective on the fridge cutscene.
"開かないの?"
手を貸してくれないか。
私？大の男が私みたいなか弱い女性に助けを求めるの？いいわ。何これ？全然可愛くない。はい、これあげる。
どうも。
どうも。I'll just stand here in my A pose and look at it. The lead ring inside of James's head. If I remember, they changed the description.
それで
Oops.
次は
こっちだ。はめる場所がある。
Oh, you walked into the flashlight. I was purposefully trying to aim it away from you. Yeah, a ring made of lead engraved with a terrified face. So in the original, the description for the lead ring described it as a bloated, ugly face. This one's still engraved with a spider. Same as before, but I remember them, that they had changed that item description. Oh, it's like hunks of moldy bread and bones. Old moldy carrots. It's bread. Silent Hill 3 referenced. Banana peels. Like onions or something. I mean, we do get a proper It's Bread Silent Hill 3 reference later on in the hotel. Like an actual direct reference. Patients will become the diagnosis, scheduled for them when they'll make recovery, as my aim is always for the entire personnel, especially when their symptoms will become receding with effective treatment. The dissociated notice. Just words. Not making much sense. Is there a rat somewhere in here? Keep hearing squeaking. If they ever remake Silent Hill 1, I hope we're getting a Bible trophy. Maybe. Can only hope. I just saved it, but I'm going to save again. Maria's just right behind.
James,
どうした？
早くここを離れましょう。
And she's already reacting, getting nervous, wants to get out of here. Just kind of that implication. She already feels she knows what's going to happen. One of those things that can be interpreted in a few different ways. Because she's a manifestation of the town, she might have some sort of insight into what's going to happen. Or if you're a fan of loop theory, you could say that she's got memories of having already gone through this, knows that this is where she will die, at least one of the times that she will die. Yeah, she played the original. She knows.
どうした？ここを出たいんだろ？
そうよ。だけど嫌な感じがする。
行こう。大丈夫だから。
Oh, she clipped out of existence. I always find it how interesting some of these cutscenes feel with just like a slightly further perspective. Laudable says, personally, out of the entire remake, really didn't like this part. Felt the elevator was kind of weak, and the remade music following the chase just didn't mesh well. May just be a me thing. No, I agree. I kind of don't like the pacing of Brookhaven, where Maria is not with you for a lot of that. Because in the original, she's with you when the game show stuff happens, and you get like her reaction to it, where she says, you know, what was that? Changing that up, I understand why they kind of wanted to get her into the sick room sooner, before James kind of goes off and explores things. But yeah, those are some of the little changes and stuff that I didn't like quite as much. The chase sequence in general felt a little bit off as well. It's kind of jarring having Maria. You can have it where she's ahead of you, and like everything, they switch places, they teleport so that Maria's behind you before Pyramid Head stabs her and tries to, like, it's very awkward the way that sequence is edited. So, no, I agree. Some of those things are definitely not as well portrayed. It's not enough to, like, make me hate the game or anything. But definitely some little scenes and sequences here and there that I just prefer how it was handled in the OG. It is done. Sick no more. But right before Maria dies, we get this ominous note, literally called ominous note. So not only have we been following the Brookhaven director's notes about healing these patients who are part of the other side, who need to be dragged into, you know, the world of reality, even if their delusions make them happy. Going through these very extreme methods of healing, electroshock therapy and lobotomies and all of this other horrifying stuff, ultimately to come to this note: it is done, sick no more. The same way those thoughts must have passed through James's mind after killing Mary. Like, it's done. Mary's not sick anymore. So, I think it's a way to draw parallels. I don't think it's meant to be taken literally the way some fans interpret it. There's fans who go off on some crazy theory trains saying that James was literally the director of the Brookhaven Hospital in a sort of The Shining, you were always the caretaker sort of spirit. I don't see it that way. I think everything is being painted by James's subconscious, his memories of what he's done, his subconscious trying to surface, and the truth of what actually happened, what he actually did, trying to sort of surface through that delusion of his. Mary wasn't dead for 3 years. You know, she didn't die from the sickness. So all of those elements trying to come to light through his delusion are painting themselves into his reality, the way that he is perceiving things, including the notes and everything that you're picking up. So I think it's just meant to play that sort of role, that kind of parallel between them. Ooh. The glowing exit. In the void where we're not supposed to be. Come here, Maria. Stand by James for a nice thumbnail image. Nice photo session before, quote-unquote, leaving. Yeah, so in the OG, going down these stairs, this is where you would get that squeal sound. So it seems to be missing from the remake. Flip through here, take a look at the hallway before we actually start running through it. Our Shattered Memories / Downpour segment. Literally a chase sequence with knocking down cages. The same way you do in Downpour and Shattered Memories. All of this is already fully rendered, too. All the way to the elevator. Can you teleport behind Pyramid Head? Absolutely. I'm definitely going to try it. That's why I made sure to make a save. I'm also going to see what happens if we just teleport, like, here. We did it, Maria. Let's go. Let's go. Nothing bad happened. Come on in. Squeeze through the door and we'll be out of here. See what happens if we go back this way. He's not there. The spike just shows up from her. That's funny that the cutscene trigger is just there in that hallway. Trying to remember. Pyramid Head busts through this wall? Trying to remember which wall he actually breaks through. He's probably not rendered behind the wall or anything. Oh. You can see where stuff changes. I think this is the wall. What's up there? Ah, the elevator. Let's go, Maria. Go down this hallway where nothing bad can happen. Good luck, Maria. I'm going back upstairs. He stabbed me through the wall. That's awesome. Okay, I'll stand a little further back this time. I still want to see what happens. Okay, let's try that again. But stand a little further back. Look at him go. They kept fast Pyramid Head. This was a glitch that could happen in the OG. Oh, we're confused. He doesn't know what to do. He's got Bloodlust 3. Where did Maria go? Oh, she's fine. She's running in slow motion towards the elevator. At a low frame rate. And made it. Oh, you're not even trying. Oh, he's... started walking around in circles. Gonna report you, bro? Yeah. It's gonna report me to behavior. Let's take a look, since this is our first time getting to look at his model with the spear. Too bad it's partly in the wall. Still the same as the previous model. Same details. So if I teleport back in... Is he... Okay, he is. He's coming back for James rather than going after Maria. Look at his hand twitching. He wants to stab me so bad, and he just can't. Oh, and then Maria shows up once you do that. So these little moments are scripted. peace. I'm just gonna fall out of the world. I belong to the void now. Okay. If only I could crouch. If only I could teabag. Then we could have the real Dead by Daylight experience. Oh. I was seeing if I could bait out the attack and not get hit by it. Click your flashlight at him. Once the chase sequence happens, you can't, like, do anything. I don't think your flashlight even works. Oh, it does. Clicky clicky. Flashlight BM. He hates it. Adana, welcome back. Thank you for the 9 months. Thank you for being here while we bully Pyramid Head. Or he bullies us, whatever. I mean, that's kind of a cool shot, just the lights flickering behind him there. While he stands there with the spear. He's just standing there menacingly. Kool-Aid Man. Oh, she turned into low poly Maria for this sequence. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm dying a lot on this part, but there's a lot of silly things I want to try. Maria, there's an elevator. Don't worry, James. Here she comes. Here she comes. Almost there. And made it. Okay. Pyramid Head did this, broke through the wall. Now he's just gone. He rage quit. This is like, again, Dead by Daylight references. When the survivor just like runs around in the exit. Like, it's not enough for me to escape. I need the killer to watch me leave. I need him to know that he lost. Meanwhile, the killer's AFK watching YouTube on the other side of the map, just waiting for everybody to leave. Hurry up, Maria. Before endgame collapse gets you. Come on, baby killer. Don't you want to see that we're leaving? She's just bored and doing her normal animations again. Click your flashlight. Yeah, run back in. Go drop some pallets. Go vault over and over again until the killer shows up. Go find Hatch. I'm gonna teleport back to the very beginning. Oh, he spawned back in. Killer was not actually AFK. It was a bait. Maria's running back in there too. Here he comes. Yeah, body block. I just want to play Dead by Daylight now. Oh, look, they're friendly. Oh. What the fuck? She tamed him? He's being friendly. He's a friendly killer. He realizes he lost. Now he's being nice because he just wants to get some points before the match is over. Maria's being toxic, dancing around in the exit. Why does James look like he's squaring up? Like, like I will fucking fight you. Interesting how the flashlight mechanic, where it like flickers and makes that noise, still works. Maria's confused. Clicky clicky. You can even see like the elevator stuff there. Oh. He despawned. Weird how she runs in like slow motion. It's like a programmed thing to try to make her falling and getting stabbed more believable, I guess. Now she's moving faster. Oh, he's back. So there's like multiple trigger areas throughout the hallway that seem to spawn and despawn. Look out, he has a Mori! It's Rancor, she was the obsession. Good point. Well, that was fun. We get our sad Magdalene piano. That elevator from before had to be for the cutscene. Yeah, it must be. And we teleported here earlier, and Magdalene was just playing. So we know the music and everything is just tied to the location. Deja vu. There's our hospital entrance key. Got the fancy pinky, fancy finger, as is tradition when you pick up a key. See the underside of the cross. Nothing significant on it. Do we actually get Laura's model? Nope. As soon as we regain control, she blips out of existence. "12 hours of rain." I mean, we've already done one 12-hour of rain on Brookhaven rooftops. We could do another one, looking at the city streets. I genuinely do want to make more of those kinds of videos. People really liked the first one. Kind of started as a joke, but hey, if people like them, I'll record more. Grumbler International, same kind of books and stuff we've seen. Here's our note that we read. We've already read this when we kind of clipped out of bounds and wound up here. See, is that nurse still over here? Oh, now they're still flopped over dead. Yeah, it's surprising how much of the hospital is still rendered, even though you can't go back in at this point. This nurse just standing here. Okay. As much fun as we're having, I do need to call it here. But a lot of cool stuff. Messing around with that hallway was really interesting. Still found some neat details and stuff looking around at things. And we're officially done with Brookhaven. So tomorrow night, we'll spend forever looking at the otherworld town streets